Welcome to Spree Tea. This is a Spree series where we spill the tea from strangers online about their health related issues. And this is inspired by a Reddit thread called AITA, which is Am I the Oh, I can't say the word because I don't want this video to get flagged, but hopefully, with context clues, you know exactly the word that I'm trying to say. Anywho, let's get into the first video of this series with this story, and then together we're going to decipher, okay, if this person really is in the right or in the wrong for feeling this way about somebody else. So let's get into it. Alrighty, my childhood friend has been going through some health issues lately. I've been very supportive and always listen whenever she has any updates. However, lately, that has been the only thing she ever talks about. I totally understand the trauma from a health problem of this nature, but the thing that I'm struggling with is that 90% of our conversations revolve around the health problem and medical appointment updates, with little to no interest in what is going on in my life. Not only is there a lack of interest in my life, she has also expressed how she doesn't care what is going on in her other friends' lives and about things that are important to them, but that she thinks is so mundane, like work, dating, etc. And those things don't actually matter to her in her eyes. Additionally, I notice a pattern in that when I try to talk about work or what's going on in my life, there's usually a lack of support and understanding from her because she cannot relate since she's so consumed with her health problems. It has essentially turned into an hour-long phone call a month with the whole thing being about her. All right, well, first and foremost, I totally understand where you're coming from. Not in this exact way, but I do understand this feeling of feeling like your energy is being drained by someone who always talks about themselves and you never get a chance to be heard or understood. And the core of who we are as beings, as human beings, is liking the feeling of being heard and understood, right? We love that feeling. And when that is not getting ticked, it can be very offsetting and also very draining. And this is where you hear the word energy vampire come from, right? Because people who are around people who don't reciprocate, don't ask follow up questions, don't express interest in somebody else's life can feel like you are draining your energy to them and they are taking away your energy from you. And they are just, the ones being heard and understood, and it can feel like a one sided relationship. So I totally empathize with that dynamic that you're going through. But obviously, this is a very sticky situation, right? Because she is dealing with a health issue. And this is very appropriate for this thread that you posted this in, right? Because a lot of people, when they're going through health issues, everyone has to be respectful of that. And that's just the norm. That's just common courtesy. That's just how an empathetic person should be, right? So it can feel very unsettling and you could feel very mean bringing something like this up. Like, hey, you talk too much about yourself when what they're going through is very severe and should be heard and understood, and they should have somebody who is always at their beck and call and always at their back, right? But then it comes to a point where it feels like you're getting violated and your boundaries are being crossed because you are not feeling heard or understood, and the conversation is always about them. So I get that you are in a sticky situation and it feels like you're walking on eggshells and it's going to be very awkward to bring this up to her. But at the end of the day, your boundaries are your boundaries, right? And in order to be a good friend, you should feel comfortable enough to express this, but also in order to be a good friend, you should also be honest with how you feel. Because if she's also a good friend too, she should be able to understand where you're coming from. And if she isn't, then perhaps you just need to find a compromise. Like, hey, 30 minutes allocated to you and your health issues. And then the end of the 30-minute call, it needs to be about me because that is how I feel heard and understood in this relationship and in this dynamic. So I'm sorry you're going through that. I totally understand. But what do you guys think? Do you guys agree with me? I think that she needs to be very honest because if she is dealing with a good, genuine friend, the friend is going to totally understand where she's coming from and probably have this self-reflective realization moment being like, oh yeah, actually I have been in the wrong. I'm sorry. I haven't even noticed that it's been all about me because this health issue is literally taking over my life. And that's the thing about health, you guys. Once your health is compromised, you get tunnel vision. You can only focus on that and think about that. So I understand where the friend is coming from, where she doesn't want to hear about people's dating lives or whatever, because this is a very severe issue. Whenever it's about health, that's literally all you can focus on, right? Because health is wealth, right? We all know that phrase. And because it's true, it's a good phrase to go by and because it's the truth. Okay. So here is what I would do. Yes, I would have a talk with her. And also, okay, I would also suggest to her things. And on Spree, we have some great products that she can use to feel heard and understood. Now, obviously, it's not going to replace a doctor, and she's always She's already doing the job of going to a doctor and doing that. Great. But we have the Apollo wearable. The Apollo wearable is great at tracking your health metrics, helping with stress management through vibrations that get emitted and through bone conduction. These vibrations are absorbed into the body and actually activate your parasympathetic nervous system to put you in a state of rest and digest. So that can help ease any tension. And also by having a device that tracks everything for her and also makes her more resilient to stress and other factors in her life, she will feel more heard and understood through a robot, right? And the great thing about robots and devices is that they don't need to tell their stories or in order to feel heard and understood, right? They are functioned and programmed to only work through a one-sided relationship. And it seems like to her right now she needs a therapist and she needs something where it's one-sided because she just has tunnel vision, and rightfully so, right? Because she's going through something very stressful and traumatic. But she just needs something that is going to align with that. And unfortunately, human beings, we also need to feel heard and understood. And that doesn't align with that. It needs to be a two-sided relationship with humans. So express your needs and also give her some friendly advice and some recommendations. And if she doesn't hear or understand you, well, hopefully she finds someone that does. And hopefully, at the very least, you can find a middle ground with her. Alrighty, let us know down in the comments if you agree with me. All right. But stay tuned for the next episode for some more spree tea. Bye for now.